When you came years ago, did you have this plan that you were going to turn Clemson into wide receiver you?
I mean, I can remember really for the first 2 years, we struggled at wideout. In 08 and 09, DeAndre Hopkins had to play as a freshman before he was ready. He was 173 pounds and he wasn't ready, but at the time he was the best that we had. And, so we kind of went through a spell right there. And then that next group came in 2011. That was a big group with Sammy and Martavis, Sharon, Adam Humphreys, and those guys. And now Nuke was a sophomore. It really, really improved. And, it wasn't something that we knew at that point that, oh my gosh, we're going to get on this really good run of wideouts. It's something that just really happened over time. And really, there's been good wideouts even before that. We just had a couple years there in between. We weren't as deep as we have been here recently.
So is it your outstanding coaching or just having super talented guys?
Really good DNA. That's what it is. That's what we look for. I mean, really, what we talk about is if you can bring in guys that are talented, and guys that'll buy into the work ethic, being humble, hungry, hardworking. You get a talented guy that's willing to work, then that's how you get an elite player. And I think a lot of times the wide receiver position, guys come in, they're talented, and maybe they don't push themselves as hard, work on the details and all that. And that's something that our guys have really always taken pride in is the details. I look at Sammy Watkins coming as a true freshman. I mean, he would listen, very coachable. Even though he could probably go out there and do a lot of things on his own, the details were important for him. And that's really how he went from being a really good wideout to being a great wideout. And then the younger guys see that, and it kind of becomes the culture of your room. So that's something we're always reminding our guys is, hey, even though we've had these talented guys, they had talent coming in, but they were willing to put in the work. And that's part of who we are and who this group has been, and we need to keep it that way.
How about a guy like Travion Thompson? He's kind of toiled in the shadows at this point. Is he the kind of guy that could come up and be like Dabo yesterday compared to Jerron Brown a little bit?
Yeah, I think so. I don't think we appreciated Jerron as much when he was here as we do now that he's left and now getting ready to play maybe his fifth year. And the issue was he had Sammy on one side and DeAndre Hopkins on the other side that kind of overshadowed him. Now here he is playing for 5 years, and I really think that we've got that. I think we've got several guys in this group other than just our first three that are going to have a chance to play at the next level. And, one thing that we believe in is playing a lot of guys. And we're not just going to play a lot of guys to play a lot of guys. We're going to play as many guys that deserve to play. But, we want to do that. And so our guys know that. So that's why they don't get discouraged if they're not the starter. They know as long as they work hard and earn the opportunity to play, they're going to have a chance to play 30 or 40 snaps.
Jeff, the other day Dabo kind of got on the receivers for some drops and some procedural stuff. How do you think they responded to that?
Yeah, well, we had a very poor practice out here on Tuesday. And you got to have those are part of fall camp. You don't like them as a coach, but you try to look for them, and when they're there, you try to really make your points. And really, the big message to the guys is, hey, even though we got a talented group, we got to show up every day with the right focus, the right mentality. We can't just roll out here and be dominant every day if we don't have that right focus. And that was the big thing Tuesday is the guys came out here. It was the first day in Jervey Meadows. It was a little bit hot, and they didn't have the focus from the beginning, and it showed throughout the whole practice. But obviously they got challenged a good bit, and I felt like they responded yesterday in the scrimmage. Today was probably one of our best days, and so that's what you're looking for as a coach is, can we rebound from that adversity, because it's really just kind of a microcosm of what's going to happen in the season. We're going to have some games I can remember last year, early in the year. We opened up Troy, we had a bunch of drops, and you got to just work your way through it and go back to work, get your focus back. And now, how we finish the rest of the season, is a testament to the way those guys really responded to that adversity. So as coaches, we're looking for those opportunities, and unfortunately Tuesday we found it.
You as a coach, and do you think the players are ready to end the camp portion of this and start dialing in on an opponent?
I don't think we're quite to that spot. I think Monday or Tuesday we'll kind of get there, and I think our guys know we're still, in our mind, kind of in the third quarter of camp. So we're not quite to that spot yet. We still got a big scrimmage Saturday and 2 really important days, Monday, Tuesday. And I think once we get to Tuesday, school starts Wednesday, they'll kind of realize, all right, we survived and had a good fall camp, and now it's time to start getting ready for Kent State.
Dabo's mentioned DeAndre Overton a lot. What about him do you guys like so much?
Yeah, I think just, he's not complete by any means, but he's improved tremendously from last year. And obviously with a talented guy like T. Higgins coming in, it's going to get a lot of attention and all that type of stuff. Overton was a guy that had to respond, and he did. He's probably the most improved player in that entire group from spring practice. And the only reason is because how he worked in the summer. That's very evident from the first day he got out here, and then his consistency every day. We've known he's a talented guy, but he's tall. He's got to learn how to play low, work on his releases. He's got more consistent catching the ball, and so it just puts us in a lot better position because Deion's a guy. Deion can't play 80 or 90 plays, so we got to be able to count on that second and third 9-man that come in the game. We can't call a timeout and ask the other team to take out their top corner and put in a backup because we're putting our backup 9-man in. They've got to understand the standard doesn't change. But I've been very pleased with DeAndre, and it hasn't just been 1 or 2 days. It's been consistent. It's consistency throughout all the fall camp. He's worked extremely hard, and I think he's got a bright future.
How do you avoid the slow start with a real or perceived from last season that it took a while maybe to get the offense in gear? Is it something you guys have talked about, and with so many new players, is that a concern?
Yeah, to be honest, that feels like it was 3 years ago. I'd have to go back and really study it to remind ourselves. And I think as coaches and players, we're not even thinking about that because Coach Swinney does a great job, and our coaches are really making these guys understand this is a new year. This is a completely new year. It's a new team. It's a new offense. And even us as coaches, we're trying to figure out what's the identity. We have our philosophies, which are really big, broad spectrum, but what's the identity of this offense going to be in 2017? What is the strengths? What are the weaknesses? All those things. But that's what makes it fun, that it's new. And, and that's why we're going through what we're going through right now, trying to figure all that out. And that picture will continue to kind of paint itself as we get closer to Kent State.
Just from your perception, Kelly Bryant still staying ahead of the pack at quarterback?
I believe Coach Swinney said if we played today, Kelly would be our starter. I've been very pleased with him. Very much improved from the spring. Another guy that it's been very evident how hard he worked in the offseason throughout the summer. And he came out here day one, he was much improved from where he was in spring practice. And I feel like he's been very consistent, really throwing the ball very well, and very pleased where he is. But I think that other group of guys right behind him have been competing and doing a good job as well. So we got a good situation at quarterback, but our team is definitely very confident in Kelly right now where we are in fall camp.
His skill set, abilities, does he remind you of anybody that you've played with or seen?
No, I really think back to all the guys that we've had, at least the last 3 or 4 quarterbacks, have really all been different. It's kind of fun going back as we're installing the offense and we're watching cut-ups and you're seeing Taj Boyd and you're kind of remembering what type of quarterback he was and what his strengths were, and then also Cole Stout in there, and obviously more recently Deshaun. But Kelly has a great skill set, and he brings a lot of things to the table. And the biggest thing for him has been to continue to develop as a passer, getting the ball out on time and all that, and that's where we've seen the most improvement, and that's why he's in a good position right now.
What's the one thing he does best for the offense?
I would say right now, just overall execution. We got a lot of different things going on, movements and shifts and different personnel groups, different formations, and he's not overwhelmed with what we're doing. So I'd just say the overall flow, execution, pace of the offense has been really good under him at quarterback.
And then just to give equal time, what have you seen out of Zarek and what have you seen out of Hunter?
All those guys have had their moments. I would say Zarek has done a better job of making good decisions. Zarek's got an unbelievable arm. The biggest thing from him in the spring has just been, understanding when to try to fit that ball in there and when not to. And I feel like Zarek's been making some good decisions here in fall camp, and then Hunter, I feel like things are slowing down for him a little bit now. Obviously coming in the spring, very fast with all the installs. Now second time through, he's able to process it and make better decisions. And then Chase Bryce has done an excellent job coming in. Chase looks like he's been here for a year. Doesn't look like he just got here in June. Got really good football instincts. The game is slow for him, which is something, a great compliment for a quarterback. Very smooth, and I think we got a good group. Definitely some good depth there at quarterback, and it'd be fun to watch these guys compete here for these last couple of weeks to see who runs out there first, second, and third.
Seems like nobody talks about the tight ends. Mylan starting to separate himself a little bit, or who are you seeing in that group step up?
Yeah, I think Mylan and DJ have probably been the two that have really, from a pass, each of those guys kind of has their special skill set. Some guys might be better in the pass, some guys might be better in the run. We're looking for guys that can do both of them, so we don't have to make a lot of substitutions. And so really it's guys working on their weakness because they all have a certain strength. And I think just through practice we've seen, just like any position, there's been ups and downs. But I think those guys have done a good job when we've gotten in the stadium, especially in some of our scrimmage work. Those guys have done some of their best work so far in fall camp.
For those guys to develop that dual skill set, is that important from a standpoint of, hey, this guy's coming in, so now we're keying on the run, or this guy's in, so now we're keying on the pass?
I just think overall depth, as play caller and as we're kind of directing the offense, you don't want to change what you're doing offensively based off who's in there at 3-back. Just like you don't want to change what you're doing based off who's in at 9-man or who's in at running back. We ought to be able to roll doing the same things regardless who's in there. So that's really our big challenge. It's not unlike any other position. Same thing I'm challenging, my 2-men, behind Ray, you got Amari and TJ Chase has been getting some work there along with Cornell Powell. I'm challenging those guys. Hey, there shouldn't be a drop-off. We don't need to be, calling different plays when you guys are in here. We should be able to do the same things we do when Ray's in.
Can you talk about